I'm Bernard Wolff. I'm running for the Milton City Council, District 1 at large. I grew up here. My father bought a farm over in the western part of the county. My grandfather lived up on Hopeful Road, where he was the head of the Soil Conservation Service up here, helping the small farmers. I grew up in Atlanta and here. Went to the University of the South in Swanee, Tennessee for college. Then I spent 4 years in the Navy, a year and a half of which was in the Brown Water Navy as skipper of a swift boat. My crew and I had 144 combat patrols there. And then at the end of that, I decided to go into business rather than the traditional family route of going into medicine. And I enrolled in the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business. This gave me the chance to do what I decided I wanted to do while in Vietnam, and that is work more with people overseas, and also help develop business for the United States and overseas markets, something that was considered rather out of the box back at that time. So over the next several years, I traveled in about 40 countries and was really pretty successful developing exports for U.S. products in these emerging markets. There are a lot of folks that are rich now that were poor when I first met them. That's one of my great accomplishments. Why am I running for this office? Well, I moved up to our farm about 5 years ago and joined Milton because of the promise of a beautiful rural environment such as we've always known, and that I want to preserve. I started going to some of the council meetings, and I encourage the citizens to do that as well, to see how government is run. And some of the things I heard disturbed me. I found this feeling of inevitability and defeat about the finances of the city that led people to say we have to have high-density development in order to meet the needs of the city budget. Well, we've seen this before in other communities. It leads to uncontrolled development, and it destroys our quality of life, and eventually you leave. There are examples of that around the Atlanta area. I don't want that to happen here in Milton. So I decided to go ahead and run for the city council to see if I could bring in some of my experiences and ideas to meet this Milton dream. I feel that we need to have more parks and recreation areas for the people to play football. They're over congested now. And the people in Milton are having to pay a premium to be able to have their kids play football and baseball. The equestrian community needs places to ride their horses. I think the citizens like to have a place to just go walk and ride their bicycle to enjoy. Let's use some of our budget money to basically acquire more parkland. We can do it through innovative financing, and I'm quite familiar with means of doing that. Secondly, let's look at our budget more carefully and use commonly used financial principles that you see in business, such as a line item budget, where each item has targets and you have to meet those targets. Let's use that now and have good oversight, and maybe a financial committee to be sure that things are done in a proper manner. Also, more importantly, in development, let's control development. Let's do it according to the ordinances Milton has that sets the standards for development, where we have nice things here, and also they meet the needs and the desires of the local neighborhood. We don't want continued development where you basically release development just for development's sake and just to generate income for the city. Instead, it should be to make the quality of life better here and make this a pleasant place to visit and live. Finally, we do need to control density. How do we do that? First, obey the ordinances during zoning meetings. Stop the variances that they have to zoning and allowing these things to be violated. This has been the pattern that needs to change. Secondly, sewer extensions. We need to stop that. If we're going to maintain the rural character, we have to remove the expansion of sewer, which inevitably does lead to higher density, traffic problems, and ultimately higher expense to the government. There's several other ideas I have, and I hope that you will vote for me on November the 3rd so we can bring those into fruition. Thanks again.